the Cubs drought obviously is over. The lovable losers have won. Who is the next team, the next underdog that America will latch onto like they did to the Chicago Cubs over the last 20, 30 years or so?
Well, I think the Indians are actually poised very well for that. I mean, this is a team that hasn't won since 1948. They were, very close to winning in Game 7. They've got, like the Cubs, they have a very charismatic manager, Terry Francona, who I think is good at the big picture stuff, probably even better than Madden is at the tactical stuff. They've got a budding star in Francisco Lindor, who, that play that Ted talked about in the 9th inning on Fowler. I mean, if the Indians had won the World Series, we'd be talking about that for a century, the way that we're going to talk about the Jason Hayward pep talk. I mean, that was just an incredible play. They've got a very strong rotation. They've got Andrew Miller and Cody Allen in the bullpen. They do have to make a couple tweaks in the lineup to get back to where they were. But I think this, to me, this is a team that has it in them to compete for another championship, and I think to be the underdogs that a lot of us want to see finally break their curse.
Ted, is there another team that America could latch onto?
Well, I agree. Certainly the Indians are the natural choice, but to me there's two teams that don't get talked about enough, and they don't get talked about because they haven't done anything really to be worth talking about, and that is the Washington Nationals and the Seattle Mariners are the only two teams in baseball to have never made the World Series in their franchise's history. So now, one of those teams, the Mariners, hasn't even been to the playoffs since 2001, and the Nationals have lost 3 times in the division series, sort of in heartbreaking fashion every time. So if to become a sort of plucky darling that people start to care about, if you need that sort of, oh, you've been so close before, the Nationals are the closest to that group. I mean, you could pick the Rangers, who came within 1 strike of winning a World Series, but I don't sense a lot of emotion attached to the Texas Rangers, maybe even by people in Texas. So to me, the fact that you could have 2 franchises, granted expansion franchises both, but that have not even made it to the World Series, that's pretty remarkable in this day and age of expanded playoffs and expanded opportunities. And in the case of the Nationals, they haven't gone beyond the division series since they moved to Washington. Even in Montreal, they were only had 1 real playoff appearance. And then in the case of the Seattle Mariners, those great teams in the late 90s and early 2000s that should have gone to the World Series and didn't, I think, have mostly been forgotten about already, and their future is a little bit uncertain. So those 2 teams would be the ones that probably deserve more of our attention on the drought scale.